In June of 2020, I created a poll on my stream on Twitch between the games Nier Automata and the newly ported Persona 4 Golden. To my surprise, Persona 4 absolutely decimated this poll, beating out Nier for my next stream. I went into this game with my only prior experience with the series being the game Persona 5, which I had played about 4 years prior, and the inclusion of Joker in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Little did I know, this single port would become one of my all-time favorite games and would lead me down a path of engrossing myself in the series and its various spin-offs for the next full year. Welcome to my Persona Retrospective Review Series, and this is Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden is the definitive version of the game Persona 4 released in 2008 by the studio Atlus and was directed by Katsuro Hashino, director of Persona 3, 4, and 5, and producer of a significant amount of the Shin Megami Tensei series. This game was released only 2 years after the base version of the game Persona 3, and only 1 year after the extension/upgrade of that game titled Persona 3 FES. The game is an RPG murder mystery game based in the small town of Inaba, where you play as the protagonist Yuna Arakami and his growing group of friends as they try and solve a series of murders involving people being found dead hanging from utility poles. You and your friends gain these special abilities in which you can summon something called a persona, which is your true inner self manifested in various creatures and beings from bits of mythology, religion, and fiction. You and your friends use these personas in a mysterious world within the TV to try and solve this case. Now that you have the basic understanding of the setup of this game, let's get into the meat of the video. The game begins with a protagonist named whatever you want to name him. For me, I'm gonna name him Sleep... Wait, you need a last name? Fuck you mean I need a last name? What, you want me to put my real last name? No. Fuck. That does bring up the question though. What the fuck would my last name be? Sleep Stevenson? Sleep Johnson? Man, fuck it. We'll go with the most generic names of generic names. Sleep Jones. The game begins with our protagonist being sent to the rural town of Inaba from his old home in an unnamed big Japanese city, since your family be working far away from home for the next year. Upon your arrival to Inaba, you learn that you'll be living with your uncle Dojima and your younger cousin Nanako. After an introduction to the two characters, you guys embark on a brief gas station pit stop, where you talk to a very feminine looking dude. After heading home and unpacking from your move a bit, you decide to lay down. On your first night arriving in town, you have a strange dream that shows the inside of Snoop Dogg's penthouse, where you're taught how to use a persona through a battle with a mysterious voice in the fog. The next day, it's your first day of school at Yasugami High School, where you become friends with 3 students. Their names are Chie, Yukiko, and Yosuke. After a brief introduction, Chie describes a local urban legend about this mysterious channel that shows up on TV only on midnight on rainy days. Legend has it whoever appears on the television is your true love. Later that day, shocked in the small town, TV announcer Mayumi Yamano is found dead, hanging upside down from a television pole. You and your friends happen to stumble across a scene where you talk to your uncle having a first encounter with his clumsy coworker, Adachi. The following night, you first watch the Midnight Channel after hearing the rumor from Chie.
Thou art I. Thou art the one who opens the door.
Here you learn you can physically enter the TV. When you tell Yosuke and Chi about this the next day, all three of you decide to investigate, where you then go through one of the largest TVs they can find at Junes, the grocery store mall thing. Seriously, this thing is an anomaly within itself. Inside, they are thrown into a weird foggy world where they encounter the most horrific thing in the entire game, a weird looking bear named Teddy. After fumbling around a bit and finding out the weird bear is hollow and has nothing outside of him, the group is allowed to leave this world, where they are informed that there is no exits to outside the TVs besides the one Teddy can create. The next day, the body of Sakiko Nishi, the girl who discovered the body of Mayumi Yamano, is found dead on the antenna in a similar fashion as the TV reporter. This greatly upsets Yosuke, as he's Saki's co-worker at Junes and had developed a bit of a crush on her. Yosuke and you plan on returning to the television the next day, with Chi acting as a way to pull you out of the TV with a rope if stuff goes wrong. After a fair bit of distance into the TV, the rope is cut off and Chi is left mortified. Inside the TV, you and Yosuke find that there is a pathway to an area resembling the shopping district of Inaba. You approach a building with a portal in the entrance that looks a lot like Saki's family liquor store.
Huh?
This is where you awaken to your Persona and engage in your first battle. Speaking of battle, let's talk about the mechanics. The gameplay of Persona as a whole has a lot of borrowed elements from the mainline SMT series, with a lot of added twists of social elements added into it. The battle system is a turn-based system which is all about exploiting the weaknesses of various enemies and buffing you and your party members to adapt to different situations. Exploiting these weaknesses will knock down an enemy and give you a second bonus turn with the character you knock them down with. Landing a critical hit will also give you the same benefits of enemies that may not usually be weak to the moves you throw out. At the end of each battle, you'll be given a screen called Shuffle Time. This is where a bunch of cards are displayed that can give you various things such as buffing your personas, giving you completely new personas, or giving you more money. If you are able to completely clear this entire screen of all the cards, you can get extra turns in the next Shuffle Time. Continuing to do this will continue to give you more benefits. Now that we got through that, let's talk about the namesake of the game, Personas. Personas are these like extra demons in which you can collect all these different demons that have different effects, different abilities, different typings. It's very much like Pokemon, but there's a lot more layers to it in terms of like typing. There's like, these usually have multiple weaknesses, multiple strengths to them, but it's not just one type usually, and that's what makes it really fun. The gameplay is very satisfying. The constant growth of your personas and your arsenal makes it really fun and engaging, where you want to keep going through these different battles and getting really cool and new personas. Now that we've gone through the gameplay a little bit, let's get back to the story. After your first battle, you enter the Twisted Liquor Store. Here, the truth about how Saki actually really hated Yosuke comes to light, and Yosuke's put into a sense of denial. Yosuke's repressed feelings in this moment manifest into a shadowy figure of himself. This shadow then makes itself known and agitates Yosuke with various claims. Yosuke's inability to accept the truth about why he even came with you in the first place allows itself to become a disfigured monster. This is your first boss battle. This battle is relatively easy, and it shouldn't take very much effort to get through, but it's a good way to teach the player a bit about the mechanics of this game and its various battle systems. When you defeat the boss, Yosuke accepts his true feelings, which allow the shadow to manifest into Yosuke's persona. Here you learn you have the ability called the wild card, where you can have multiple personas while the rest of the team can't. This gives you this constant feeling of team building where you can switch out different party members that have certain personas that fit different dungeons better. It gives you this constant feeling of team building, and it feels very rewarding. After the situation with Yosuke's shadow, you guys return to the entrance of the shadow world where Teddy lets you out. Here he decides to stay as Yosuke and you decide to head back to Junes. After meeting up with an angrily relieved Chie, you guys head home for the night and things stay pretty calm for a bit. After a couple days, a shadowy figure begins to appear on the Midnight Channel, which the group suspects to be Chie's best friend Yukiko, who just appeared on the news. After a bit of scrambling around in fear, they find out she's still present in the real world. Unfortunately though, Yukiko is kidnapped, and afterwards a clear image of her is revealed on the Midnight Channel.
Good evening! Tonight, Princess Yukiko has a big surprise. I'm gonna go score myself a hot stud. Welcome to Not a Dream, Not a Hoax. Princess Yukiko's hunt for her Prince Charming. And I came prepared. I've got my lacy unmentionables on, stacked from top to bottom. I'm out to catch a whole harem, and the best of the lot is gonna be all mine. Well, here I go.
After this cutscene, you gain access to a mysterious glowing door within the northern shopping district area of Inaba and the entrance to the TV world. This place is the Velvet Room, a mysterious room which seems to take place inside a limo, and is home to a fucking despicable Mia-looking ass motherfucker named Igor and his assistant Margaret and this e-girl looking bitch named Marie. They offer various different services to upgrade and infuse your various personas. With the fusion process, you can level up your personas and inherit new skills while creating entirely new personas. This adds a whole new layer of optimization and team building, which adds to the replayability and enjoyable / rewarding combat. The other aspect of the Persona gameplay is the day-to-day life stuff, or the social links. These social links are the special bonds between various characters. These links can give you benefits to increase various parts of dungeon crawling TV world stuff, or help you around town. These social links are also tied to various arcana based on tarot cards, which different personas fall under. These links will be what I'm referring to when I'm talking about huge time passages, as it would be an extremely long and not too entertaining video to me if I talked about every individual plotline and story within these social links. Although I will be mentioning certain social links as they are tied to certain characters that are really crucial to the plot that I think really helps the story overall. Now, once again, let's get back to the story. With Teddy giving support and knowledge of the TV world, the protagonist and Yosuke decide to venture into Yukiko's dungeon, which takes the shape of a castle. After a bit of dungeon crawling with you and Yosuke using your personas to fight, you both warn Chie that she shouldn't enter since she lacks a persona, although in typical stubborn Chie fashion, she ignores the warning. On the second floor of the castle, Chie is caught up with her emotions stemming from jealousy of Yukiko, which manifests into a shadow. After denying her shadow in a similar fashion to Yosuke, Chie's shadow mutates into a giant monster. Here you engage in another battle, very similar to the battle with Yosuke. This battle shouldn't be too hard, you should get through it pretty easily. After battle, Shadow Chie turns into Chie's own persona, and Chie joins the trio as a new persona-wielding party member. After getting through a pretty simple dungeon, the trio eventually finds Yukiko, along with Shadow Yukiko. Shadow Yukiko expresses her disgust with inheriting the inn and playfully flirts with the protagonist Yosuke and Chie, calling Chie her Prince Charming. Shadow Yukiko asks her Prince Charming to take her far, far away to escape her fate of inheriting the Amagi Inn. Yukiko begs Shadow Yukiko to stop, but Shadow Yukiko ignores Yukiko's pleads. Shadow Yukiko taunts Yukiko, asking why she would want her to stop confessing her true feelings. Shadow Yukiko exclaims that she's the embodiment of Yukiko's true thoughts. Yukiko denies Shadow Yukiko's claims and does the classic "you're not me" line that this game will throw at you a lot. Fueled by Yukiko's denial of these truths, Shadow Yukiko transforms into a caged bird and attacks the party. The battle is relatively easy, it is more of a basic skill check on players to make sure the player properly uses the mechanics of this game. Something to look out for is the little prince minion she throws out with her summon move, as well as her super move, Burn to Ashes. It's still a pretty relatively simple boss compared to later fights though, and shouldn't be too hard to defeat. Anyways, after you manage to beat Shadow Yukiko, Yukiko becomes willing to face herself, and the shadow transforms into Yukiko's fire-based persona. You and your friends decide to stay low for a bit as Yukiko recovers from being saved from the TV world. This time could be used as time to catch up on social links and various other activities. Some time passes and the group sees another strange figure appear on TV, and it's suspected to be a teen who recently appeared on the news over him single-handedly taking down an entire biker gang. This boy is Kanji Tatsumi. While looking for the boy, the group spots a strange blue-dressed slender young man who seems to be following him. They are unable to keep a close enough of an eye on Kanji to prevent him from being kidnapped, and once he is, he begins to appear on the channel. After a pretty confusing investigation mini-section, the team ventures into a steamy bathhouse where you guys find Kanji facing his shadow. This shadow has manifested from him questioning his sexual orientation and being ridiculed by girls for his more feminine interests. I genuinely love the way this game tackled this character and his struggles. It was a very progressive and well-executed way to handle a character, handling their sexuality in a piece of Japanese media, especially for the time. Kanji is one of my favorite characters in this game because of how much I relate to him and his struggles displayed here in this story. When Kanji is rescued, the group comes to the realization that all the 4 kidnap victims, Yamano, Saki, Yukiko, and Kanji, appeared on the news before appearing on the Midnight Channel. Additionally, Yukiko and Kanji's first appearances on the channel were still blurry and out of focus while they were still not kidnapped yet. After they disappeared, the figures on the TV became their shadows and a bit more representative of their inner emotions. Therefore, the group concludes that the victims will appear first on the real-world TV, appear in a blurry form on the Midnight Channel, get kidnapped, and then have vivid appearances on the channel until they die on the next foggy day. A couple days pass and it comes to the attention of the town that a nationally known celebrity idol, Rise Fujikawa, is coming to Inaba during her break from their celebrity life. However, the group begins increasingly worried when they see an indistinct silhouette on the Midnight Channel that seems to resemble Rise. However, the group is unable to prevent her from disappearing and she begins to appear clearly on the Midnight Channel. After a quick investigation in a strip club themed dungeon, you encounter her in her shadow where she is confronted by her shadow. Like the others, she refuses to accept her shadow form and the team engages in a battle. This fight will go relatively fine, but at some point in the battle, the shadow will use a move called Supreme Insight to become invincible, and a scripted sequence will happen. The group is unable to do a dent against the shadow, but eventually Teddy intervenes and uses his inner power to become a motherfucking nuclear bomb to destroy this monster. This results in his body being completely and utterly flattened and extremely weak. Eventually, Teddy's inner emotions about himself manifest and create Shadow Teddy, which is probably the most difficult fights in the entire fucking game because of being directly after the ass beating you receive from Rise. After a tough fight, Teddy gains his own persona after the defeat of his fucking weird and godly shadow, and so does Rise. Rise takes over Teddy's role of the big support character while Teddy joins the group as a character capable of battle. After Rise's rescue, Teddy does the One Punch Man training regimen and comes out into the real world like it's no big deal. In the Junaz food court, after a bit of confusion, Teddy unzips himself and this happens.
It's so hot! Whoa! What the? Much better.
No way!
Now that hit the spot.
The only explanation given for this fucking human form existing is he grew it like some kind of fucked plant. It's some weird like Little Shop of Horror shit. Anyway, here's a little bit of team banner because I think the group's interactions here are really fun and nice.
Is he cute? What do you think, Kanji?
Huh? What are you asking me for?
Well, I was just wondering if he was your type.
Oh, I get it. What you're really asking is, will you please beat the shit out of me, Kanji? It ain't funny, Yukiko-senpai.
Sorry.
You'll have to forgive Yukiko. She's helpless when she gets this way.
Oh, please, everyone. Don't fight over me, baby.
After Rise's recovery, the group for the second time now encounters a strange teen from before who is now taking an interest in the investigation team. Some time passes and the fucked British teeth school teacher King Moron is found dead in a similar manner to the 2 first victims, despite never appearing on either the news or the Midnight Channel beforehand. The group is shocked at how the killer's pattern had been completely thrown out the window. Later, the strange teenager the group encountered before during the case with Kanji reveals himself to be Naoto Shirogane, an aspiring detective who is assisting the Inaba Police Department in the murder case. He comments that the police have found a suspect who's confessed his guilt, though they have not revealed his identity to Naoto yet. Naoto does say that he's discovered that the suspect is a student from another high school. As summer break starts, a strange boy appears on the Midnight Channel where he taunts the investigation team. A quick investigation around town by the party to find the boy's identity reveals him to be the suspect being sought after by the police, mentioned by Naoto earlier, who goes by the name of Mitsuo Kubo. One pretty cool RPG game reference dungeon later, and you are confronted by him in his dungeon. His shadow form looks a lot like the final boss of Half-Life 1, who attacks the group and after a somewhat tedious battle is defeated. Also, this battle can go suck a fat cock. Dude, it's like this weird baby thing, and then he like surrounds himself in these like he becomes like this giant bit of fucking pixel art, and it's so fucking stupid. Oh my fucking god. You'll like beat him and then he'll just recover these like bits of pixels, and it's like this fucking boss that constantly recovers himself. It's the most annoying shit. Oh my god. Mitsuo is pulled out of the TV by the investigation team and handed over to the police as the true killer. However, the group suspects that something isn't right with the theory that he's the killer due to the large inconsistencies with how Maruka was murdered, as he was simply just beaten to death with a blunt object. The group tries to piece together any evidence to confirm or disprove the theory that Kubo is the killer, but it results in nothing. After this attempt at an investigation, the team goes on a school trip to the Persona 3 location. Here, after meeting up with Naoto, they have this really fun drinking scene I think you guys should watch.
Oh, you're so cold, Kanji. Kanji. I conjecture that something's up. That's a great one.
Man, you're already in high gear.
Conjecture?
She's looser than usual, too.
Hey, wait a sec. Are these liquor?
I told them to give us soft drinks. They're non-alcoholic. I told them. Really, I did. Really. Sheesh. I was wondering why it's so hot.
Is this seriously booze? But the smells...
King's Game! Times like this, adults play the King's Game. It's the law. What's their problem? They make me act like a ditz, call me Rosette and stuff, then say I'm a kid? It's so obvious. Those rap parties get a lot funner after I go home. Morons! I'm gonna play the King's Game now, and ain't no one gonna stop me.
Yet another side of Rise exposed. I wonder if she knows what she's saying.
Kanji! Get the chopsticks ready.
What? Why me?
The king's word is law! Chop chop!
It's already started?
After coming back from the school trip, it is confirmed that Kubo must be a copycat killer when Naoto deliberately appears on the news in an attempt to bait the killer, where he then appears on the Midnight Channel. One really annoying dungeon with a really obnoxious backtracking gimmick later, the party catches up with Naoto in his shadow. Here the team finds out through Shadow Naoto that in reality Naoto's a female that took on a male identity to avoid sexism within the police department. These themes on having to adapt to oppression and the commentary on the police department on display here really helped Naoto become one of my favorite characters in the entire Persona series. I often see this character have a lot of weird speculation around the idea of her being trans, and I honestly think that really misses the point of her entire character arc. I feel like the entire reason of her dressing up like a guy is more her trying to look for mutual respect from other men in the industry she's currently working in, rather than her trying to feel more comfortable in her own body. I feel like if she was trans, they wouldn't be pushing her as like being scared of this like sex change operation that they're showing a lot of imagery of here in this dungeon. It's honestly some really good commentary on sexism within the workplace, and it makes for a really interesting character, and I really love this character. She's honestly my favorite Persona character, period. But I digress. After defeating Naoto's shadow, Naoto calmly embraces the truth of her shadow and decides to give the female identity another try. She joins the group with a very, very broken persona based around insta-killing normal enemies, and proves to be a very highly valuable member of the team with her detective approach to the rest of the plot. Like seriously, her with Rise's assistance using her persona could probably solve the rest of this mystery on their own. Another bit of time progresses and you receive a mysterious letter. The sender's name and address are nowhere to be found on the letter, and it says the following. The team offers some theories, but nothing definitive about the letter. Extreme spoiler warnings up ahead. Do not continue if you've not finished Persona 4 Golden. Some time passes when another letter addressed to you arrives again. Here's what this one says. Following this is probably one of the most hard to watch things in the entire game. After a brief but anxiety-filled talk from your uncle, he takes you to the police station. His suspicions about you being involved in the case due to connections between your friends and them disappearing randomly now have some truth to them. After a brief interrogation where you attempt to explain the TV world and all the stuff from the last year, your uncle leaves you to stay in the interrogation room for the night. Suddenly, the TV in the room lights up in a typical Midnight Channel fashion, and you see a small but familiar shadow. Who appears on the TV? It's... oh, fuck. Within seconds, Nanako goes missing. The team questions, who would be able to pull off something like this? The rest of the investigation team rushes to the police station, chased by Dojima and Adachi in a frenzy to get you out so you can save Nanako. Here, the team ponders. After reconnecting with your friends, the group throws out some ideas on who might be behind this. Using Naoto's quick investigation, the team finds out that the culprit should be a prime suspect from the initial murders. Here, they find out he's been working a job since then, and oh my fucking god, it's the delivery man! Here, it's revealed that Toru Namatame would be able to pull off quickly snatching people and throwing them into the TV had he been able to walk up to people's houses with little issue and been able to get a large enough vehicle to transport a big enough TV to throw people into the TV world with a little issue. This would be the perfect way to pull off something like this with little suspicion. There is no signs of a struggle either, proving that Nanako had seen this person, thus giving this theory more weight. When Dojima and Adachi arrive at the interrogation room, the team quickly explains that Nanako has been kidnapped. Here, Dojima in a state of desperation gives chase to Namatame in this cutscene.
Hang in there, Nanako. Daddy's coming for you. Shit!
After the accident, a moment of worry ensues, but Dojima is okay. After a quick investigation of the truck, it is concluded that Namatame and Nanako disappeared into the Midnight Channel through a large TV in Namatame's truck. After the team reads through a notebook found in the delivery truck, Adachi and a majority of the group come to the conclusion that Namatame must be the real killer. After the investigation tracks down Namatame and Nanako, they find the next dungeon, Heaven. This dungeon has probably one of my favorite songs on the entire soundtrack, and the theme gives you this sense of dread and worry. You hope it's not too late. You make it to the end of the dungeon, and Namatame has his arms around Nanako, creating a hostage situation. He claims that he's actually saving people, leaving the group outraged and in shock due to the sheer delusional idea he's running with. A shadow stems from Namatame as you engage in battle.
Something, this could be bad! His powers are attracting more and more shadows to him!
You guys got any suggestions?
Look at him! He's merging with the shadows!
What is this?
Damn it! We've come this far! We're not losing now!
This fight is pretty long, and he has a move that essentially turns your party members into his party members, which you need to be aware of. After defeating him, an evil force surrounds Nanako, and she's in severe pain. The team grabs Nanako and Namatame and heads out of the TV world. Both are sent to the hospital injured, with Namatame seeming to be mentally unstable. During this time, the same type of fog that courses through the Midnight Channel is found running through the real world. The team goes through a stressful, intense period as they wait for Nanako to recover. The team visits Dojima and Nanako in the hospital periodically. People begin to fall ill to the fog, and horrifyingly enough, the doctors comment that there are no visible signs in Nanako to show what is causing her sickness. December 3rd is the darkest day of this game. On this day, the investigation team rushes to the hospital after Adachi informs them that Nanako's condition has worsened. This next scene not only is heartbreaking in concept, but also the voice acting just sells the shit. I'm not even gonna speak over this, just watch.
Doctor.
Big bro. I'm scared. Big bro. Daddy.
Nanako! Nanako!
I'm sorry, sir.
Damn it! Damn it!
Nana-chan.
In an emotional state, Dojima is put into a position of loss and grief. Not only has he lost his wife, but now he's lost his daughter. This feeling of losing his wife has drained him and taken away time from his daughter, and now he'll never be able to get back those hours lost. If you complete his and Nanako's social link, this is absolutely heartbreaking. You know your uncle has tried so damn hard to overcome loss with his wife, and the injustice caused by the hit and run that took her life, but now you see this man who has nothing. A hollow, destroyed man. This grief turns to anger, and he attempts to storm into Namatame's ward and kill him. Weak and emotionally broken, he doesn't make it past the guards. As the group catches up to Dojima, the guards drag your uncle away, leaving you guys alone in front of Namatame's room. You all hear a noise, and the group enters Namatame's room, where they find him mentally unstable and uttering indecipherable comments while he attempts to escape. You guys stop him and discuss some things. Unfortunately, as Dojima's assistant Adachi told them earlier, there's no evidence that the police can use to convict or detain Namatame. With the whole concept of the TV world being so outlandish, the jury would never side with the group, and Namatame would get away with everything. The last year would be for absolutely nothing, and the person responsible for the murder of your cousin would get away with it. A shadow manifestation of Namatame appears on TV and taunts them, admitting to everything. Here, a thought sparks within the group. The ultimate justice. Murder. The ultimate true justice for all the victims, and the only way to prevent further murder. Choice is given to you. You let him go? Or do you throw him into the TV world? If you give the group the go, you approach Namatame as the screen goes to black. Namatame is likely killed by the shadows, while Nanako is confirmed dead. You return home, and Teddy returns to the TV world. The fog still covers the town 3 months later in March as you leave Inaba. Your friends seem distant, and there's this general aura around everybody that you just can't see each other in the same light after what they did. Here, this cutscene plays. Some general uneasiness.
You really are leaving us. You know, it was over too quick.
It's going to get boring without you around, Senpai.
You will visit, won't you?
We'll come immediately if anything happens on your end. Be sure to take good care of yourself.
Take care. Keep in touch, okay? I'll reserve a room for you at the Amagi Inn the next time you come.
Well, I'll see ya. You really helped us out with lots of stuff. Thanks, partner.
The credits loom with an empty piano in the background. At this point, you should realize that you've made the incorrect choice. Don't save and go back to the save on December 3rd. To get the true ending, you must convince Yosuke and the group that they need to seek the truth and think with their minds and not their emotions. This seems pretty simple, but the choices to succeed are super stingy, and you need to hit the absolute correct choices to pull this off. If you convince the group to dig deeper, the group lets him go. Teddy still leaves the TV world as he thinks he's failed Nanako. But then, suddenly a nurse rushes to the investigation team. Teddy in the shadow world questions the meaning of his existence after thinking he's failed the young girl. The investigation team arrives at Nanako's room, and to the surprise of the group, Nanako started breathing again. The doctors are in awe. Their only explanation could be she got top Minecraft speedrunner levels of luck, and her heart and lungs began to resuscitate. 2 days pass, and the team hears out Namatame's explanation. He states that after seeing Yamano and Saki die, he had realized that they both appeared on the news in the Midnight Channel before their death. In response, he had started to want to save these people. In a shocking twist of events, he had realized he had the power to physically push people into TVs. This is when he had the idea of throwing Yukiko, Kanji, Rise, Naoto, and Nanako into the TVs in an attempt to save them from the pattern of murders he had made the connection to. He was trying to throw them into the TVs as he thought it was a safe space. It wasn't until he entered the TV world alongside Nanako that he realized that the TV world was actually dangerous. This entire time, he didn't know he was putting people in harm's way. Later that day, after a bit of speculation at the beef bowl shop, you must guess the identity of the real killer from a list of 26 suspects given to you. Among this list are your friends, your uncle, Namatame, and... Wait a moment. Oh my god. Think about this for a second. Who else would be able to drop a letter off at your home without suspicion? Who else would have access to intervene with evidence? Like, what happened to the letters you were receiving? You think the police wouldn't just send that over to forensics? Hell no! There had to be someone within the station tampering with evidence. It's fucking Adachi! You and the team decide to go and confront him yourselves. You confront Adachi at the hospital lobby with your group. After overhearing Adachi when you are approaching him, you find out he has relocated Namatame to a different building. When asked about this, Dojima walks up behind him and questions where Namatame is. When being informed about the relocation, this comes as a shock to Dojima, as he was still in the middle of interrogating Namatame. Adachi seems scattered. Dojima questions you and asks why the group is here. You ask Adachi about his involvement with Saki's interrogation and about when Yamano the TV announcer vanished. You ask him about the warning letter sent to you. He conveniently says he doesn't remember what happened to the letter. This angers Dojima. Adachi becomes even more scattered and aggressive. He attempts to leave, but Yosuke and Kanji block the way. Naoto brings up the fact we know the first 2 murders were separate from the Namatame incidents, while the police wouldn't. This conflicts with a comment Adachi made at the scene of the car crash earlier. The team tells him they suspect him of being the murderer, and he becomes even more scattered. This is when he makes an essential fuck-up.
We already know Namatame's the one who put them all in!
What did you just say?
This is when Dojima realizes our story about the TV world is true, and the pieces of the puzzle start connecting. This is the killing blow, and Adachi rushes away in an attempt to escape. The team chases him into a room, but he's nowhere to be found. Just an empty hospital room with a TV. You know exactly where he went. Now prepare for your final battle. After reconnecting with Teddy after informing him that Nanako's alive, the investigation team tracks Adachi down to a mysterious room within the TV world. Here, he is confronted. Adachi explains how he killed the first 2 victims and how he manipulated Namatame into kidnapping the rest. He also admitted to throwing Kubo into the TV world since his false confession would stop the series of kidnappings. Now some of you may ask, what brings a man to do this kind of thing? Why would he want to do something like this? His answer? He was bored. Adachi is a man that fits into the various themes of this game. He's the ultimate distorted true self of many working class citizens in our current society. Through his social link, we know he grew up as a pretty average kid, but he never had those bonds to connect with a lot of people. His entire life has been a rise and grind mindset that engulfs a lot of lower to middle class citizens. Grades and money is all society cares about these days. This mindset can lead down a dark path of corruption and isolation, and Adachi's the perfect encapsulation of that. Even look at his damn design. He looks like the average middle class working man. His entire reason for using this TV world power in such a way is that it got him out of the monotony of life. He's truly one of the most interesting characters in this game, and works as a really good polar opposite to the message of friendships and bonds that the series wants to push. Like, goddamn, he even has the same voice actor as the main character. He's the yin to your yang, and it's fantastic. Anyways, back to the plot. After the team goes through Adachi's dungeon, Magatsu Inaba, which is a sick, distorted version of the city outside, Adachi then tells the group that it's humanity's desire to allow the fog to settle in and settle their emotional distress. The team responds with a giant, "Nah bro, you kinda crazy," and then engages in battle. Here you learn his persona is literally a dark version of the protagonist's persona. This fight is long and it will test your skills pretty hard. When you beat Adachi, this happens.
Of all the fog?
I have come to put you all to the test and judge your worth.
Like we give a damn what you came for!
You've done what you want so far, but that'll end when we crush you!
Precisely. Then we know what we gotta do now.
I don't want people to turn into shadows.
We'll defeat it for sure. I'll back you up with everything I've got. This thing has no right to exist.
Here you learn Adachi is being used as a puppet to engulf Inaba in fog. The spirit's name is Amino Sagiri. This boss is an absolute test of endurance and skill, and the systems you've learned and mastered through this entire game. This boss gets 2 actions per turn, and has access to every single move in the game. It's rough, but you must prevail. Also, this fucking music during this battle is immaculate. The brief moment of bliss with the beautiful guitar is just fucking amazing. Once you defeat obligatory Persona God number 1000, the investigation team surrounds Adachi. You as a team take him back with you to the real world as he accepts punishment for his crimes. Adachi is locked up and the town is sunny with no sign of fog. The case is finally concluded. Following this, you have a Christmas event with whoever you dated. Usually the month of January is for like social links and stuff, so you don't have to worry about that much. After a bit of time passes, you and your friends decide to go on a ski trip. Here, if you've done the steps needed for the social link around Marie, you and whoever you romance will be trapped in a shed in the middle of the woods during a hailstorm. Here, a comedic misunderstanding will ensue, and you and the rest of the cast will find a TV. Here, you and the rest of the cast are dragged into the TV world by Margaret due to her wanting help with saving Marie. Here is the dungeon, the Hollow Forest, and basically this is a dungeon where you lose everything, and must grind yourself back up to beat the boss at the end and save Marie. It's a really cool and fun dungeon. I really enjoyed the fact it's like this bonus dungeon you could do in Golden. After defeating the boss at the end, a Disney fake-out death happens, and you guys leave the dungeon as it falls apart. Overall, I'm pretty mixed on this dungeon. I like the dungeon a lot in terms of concept, I just do not like the story around it, nor do I like Marie, so A couple months later, a Valentine's scene happens. You're probably wondering, who the fuck did I romance? Well, let's explain the romance system real quick. In Persona 3, if you finish a social link with a female, you would essentially be thrown into a romance scene anyway. There would be no choice for you to back out of it, and you just have to deal with it. In Persona 4, you could decline or accept the confession and go through different scenes with this character. These scenes usually involve a dating scene, the Christmas scene, and the Valentine's scene. If you're a douchebag, you're gonna have to go up to every single girl on Christmas or Valentine's Day, except the one you want to take out that day, and decline them. This makes for some of the most heart-wrenching writing in this entire fucking game, and I do not advise you do this. Now this begs the question, who did I choose? I picked Naoto. She's the character I connected with the most, and I really enjoy her romance scenes. These scenes are very sweet and cute, and I really enjoy them a lot. After this, a couple of days pass, and the final day arrives. This day Nanako is released from the hospital, and you must part ways with your friends. This day, you say your goodbyes to all the social links and friends you made along the way. Once you've said your goodbyes, this cutscene plays.
Well, see ya.
Good luck over there, too.
If anything happens on your end, we'll come running.
Until we meet again, Senpai.
Senpai, I'll be waiting for you.
See ya. Take care.
I'll be looking forward to seeing you again.
Well, be careful.
I'll see you, Big Bro. Bye-bye. Thank you for everything. Stay well until we meet again someday.
You'll always be my sensei forever!
Please don't forget about us over there.
I love you, Senpai.
I'll do my best! You better not run away too, Senpai!
I'll always remember our time together.
Distance doesn't matter to us! Even if we're separated, we're still friends!
Take care,
Bye,
Senpai! I'll miss you!
It's a really heartfelt and cute ending, and it gives you the feeling a lot of Persona games give you when you finish them. You get this feeling of emptiness. Like, fuck man, you got really close to all these cool characters and then had this amazing connection with the writing through this whole game. It just sucks to have to go. It's a very heartwarming but sad moment to reach the end of these games, but it's what you have to do. It's like, man, only there's more content to this game. Like, there's so many mysteries still left to this game. Where did you get all these powers from? Where did the TV world come from? If only we found out the truth to these mysteries. Well, if you decide to go up the elevator at June S on the last day, you'll sit alone at the area you and your friends met at anytime you enter the TV world. Your friends will slowly show up on the top of the June S too, and you guys will start to reminisce and discuss various things involving the last year. The group begins to acknowledge the intricacies of Adachi's isolation. Here you bring out a letter by Adachi, and it brings up various questions. How did he and Namatame get the power to enter the TVs in the first place? How did you get these powers without facing your own shadow? When did the Midnight Channel begin existing? Who started the rumors surrounding it? You attempt to retrace your steps from the first day as an attempt to look for the source of all these different things. After discussing this with Nanako, she helps you realize the person that everyone who got involved with these powers met first when coming into the town. Think about it. It can't be your uncle, and it can't be your cousin. Who did we meet afterwards? Oh my god. It's the motherfucking gas station attendant! This is when everything begins to click. You rush to the gas station. When you come to question the mole gas station attendant, you find out the gas attendant was actually the female god Izanami. When the attendant shook hands with you back on the very first day here, this gave you the power to fight with personas, and she reveals she had done the same with Adachi and Namatame. Following this, the god engulfs the entire town in fog once again, and the group decides to confront Izanami in an attempt to stop what happened this year from ever happening again. This results in you guys taking on the final dungeon, which happened to be in your dreams during the first week here in Inaba. Igor gives you the Orb of Sight, which allows you to see through all lies and only truths as a way to combat the god from interfering with humanity in the future. As we will learn in earlier titles, preventing gods from interfering with humanity has become the mission statement of Igor. After this, you and the team go into the final dungeon, Yomotsu Hirasaka. Upon entering this dungeon, you might hear something very familiar if you got one of the bad endings. This piano loop. Through this entire dungeon, you hear this creepy and almost ominous piano loop. It really adds to the atmosphere of this game and gives this feeling of uneasiness through this really hard and tough dungeon. After getting through this rough dungeon, you confront the god Izanami.
Man, it's hazy.
What? Sheesh, it's huge!
Come on! You know we've been through way worse than this thing! This is just the send-off our leader deserves!
You will engage in battle, and after defeating her first form, you will expose Izanami's true form using the Orb of Sight and reveal her monstrous and horrific true form. Battle is pretty tough, but eventually she will attempt to send you to Yomi using her special move, 1000 Curses. But all your teammates will block the way. Each of your friends will fall and die one by one in an attempt to protect you. Eventually, after all your party members have been dragged down to the depths of hell, you will also be dragged down as well. You think you've lost, and you feel a loss of hope. But then in the most anime-ass way, you and your friends' social links will forge a new power. You hear them calling out to you. After hearing the calls of your social links, you will forge a new power and return to the battleground, awakening your ultimate persona. After Izanami fails to kill you a bit, you counter with one move. This move is Myriad Truths. After defeating Izanami, she's forced to remove the fog and states she will no longer interfere with humanity and allows them to make the decisions that will bring them happiness. Here, she fades away. After defeating the god behind the incidents of last year, the Midnight Channel turns to what it was long ago according to Teddy, a beautiful forest that Teddy can now return to. Teddy returns to his world, and you leave by train for another good ending. 1 year passes, and you come back to say hello to your friends. You have a fun time catching up with everybody, seeing how they've aged, and celebrate your return with a big feast. Then, everyone lived totally spin-off free happy lives forever. The end. This game really clicked with me in terms of writing. I love the characters in this game, and I just fucking adore the gameplay in this game too. It's rewarding, fun, and constantly has this amazing loop of real-world and dungeon-crawling gameplay. It's become one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm happy I was able to put my all into this video. But before I head out, I'd love to shout out some YouTubers in the general YouTube SMT sphere. The first YouTuber I want to shout out is Fither. Fither is a YouTuber I can really enjoy in terms of SMT content because it's just him talking about games he's really passionate about. It's fun to see him gush about these games, and I'd love to possibly have a discussion about one of these games sometime with him. The second person I would love to shout out is Nam's Compendium. His content is a great perspective on these Persona games and adds in the sense of how someone reacted to different moments in the games without being just a full playthrough. Keep up the good work, you two. I hope to see you guys drop by my YouTube channel again, and maybe check out my future Persona videos like these. This is Sleep, and I hope you guys have a good day. See ya!